Greetings, YouTube model train people. I've got another basic decoder install. This time I have two Atlas Electromotive Division SD units. This one is an SD24, this one is an SD35. And I'll be using just basic Digitrax wired decoders, DH166D, and as usual I'll be going way overboard on the lights. So let's get started. Alright, so first thing I'm going to check to make sure the mechanism works fine on DC. I've just got power here from a DC wall wart. It's a little loud, but it seems to work. Okay, so I did end up taking apart the trucks and greasing everything up. They were completely dry, no lubrication whatsoever. There was their pet hair, carpet fiber, something in there too. I got that all cleaned out. They definitely run a lot better. I'll show you how to... If you want to get the trucks open, you take a screwdriver and pry like that, and then this whole part pops up. And it is kind of difficult to get it put back together. Just take your time. I did also notice that unfortunately the center wheels do not have electrical pickup. There's only a wiper here on these outside wheels. So yeah. Okay, on to the decoder install. Now, the first thing you always need to do is isolate the motor from the tracks. On this setup, it's fairly simple, that none of the power goes through the chassis like it does on an Athearn. The power comes up, and these are the two contacts right here for the motor. So you just need to unsolder all the wires here. The one thing that is extremely confusing on this, you have both wires to the front truck are black, and both wires to the rear truck are red. Whatever you do, do not hook the red and the black together. You'll get a dead short. I would recommend just ignoring the wire colors altogether and then hook both sides of the track, this one and this one, both of the right side or the engineer's side to the red, and both of the left or the fireman's side, this wire and this wire, hooked to the black. Just pretend these wires are, I don't know, pink or green or something. They're not black and red. That's kind of confusing. Okay, so here I've got the track connections done. I'm trying to get all the extra wires here out of the way so you can see. Okay, so this would be the left side track pickup here. It goes underneath the decoder, hooks to the black. And then this is not connected to that. And this comes down and hooks to this side of the pickup here. And on the other side, we've got this side of the track pickup comes here to the decoder red wire. And then this wire it goes here and down to this side. Now, onto the motor. So the orange, get these so the orange and gray need to go to these two sides of the motor. To determine which one is orange and which one is gray, the orange is listed as positive when the locomotive is going in its regular direction of travel, which I want to go this way on this one. So what I'm going to do is, just a 12-volt wall wart here. You could use a DC power supply or whatever you've got. And I'm going to test these to see which way it goes. So if I put power there, okay, notice how it's going the way I want it to go. So this wants to be the orange and this wants to be the gray. If you wanted that to be the normal direction of travel, like this, then you would do it the other way, orange on this side, gray on that. But I want this to be the normal direction of travel, so we're doing it this way. All right, so now I've got the motor hooked up here. Yeah, sorry, it's kind of hard to see here, but I've got okay, I've got the orange and the gray decoder wires hooked up to these sides of the motor. I also went ahead and hooked up the headlight here. To one side of the is on the blue, that's the common, and then this wire here actually goes. So the decoders have 4 function wires as part of this main harness here, and then there are 2 more that you can use that you have to solder on. Let's see if I can get it to focus here. You have to solder to these pads. Right here, if you want to use all 6. And I went ahead and hooked this one up to one of the pads. I am going to use this light, not for a headlight, probably just for like a cab light. You could just, well, you could do one of 2 things. If you wanted to stop right here, you could use this for the headlight. I like this. I think this little bulb's super cute, so I decided I'm going to keep it and have it be like a cab light. And that's why I hooked it up to one of the other functions. All right, so I've got it here set up on the programming track, and I've got Decoder Pro running, and I'm going to hit identify. And it seems to work. I always try and check everything on the programming track first before I put it on the power track. That way, if there's, I don't know, a misconnection somewhere, it'll show up here and hopefully not do any damage to the decoder. Okay, so here I am running on the test loop. It's kind of loud. But it seems to run decent. That's its top speed also. So if you wanted to stop here, you can. Otherwise, I'm going to go on with adding more lights. Okay, so for the headlights, I will be using these Minitronics 1.7 millimeter lamps. This is pretty much what they look like. And they fit, I can't get the camera to focus, but they fit really well for the headlights here. So I'll be using 2 of them for the front and 2 of them for the back. So I'll be hooking these in series, and then I'll be using a 240 ohm 1 watt resistor You can get by with a 1/2 watt resistor, but it gets a little warm, so I kind of recommend using the full 1 watt resistor. And then those will be hooked up. The 2 bulbs will be hooked in series, and then one leg will go to the white wire for front and the yellow wire for back, and then the other leg will go to the blue common. Where'd that go? Here's the blue common. Okay, so to prepare the shell in order to put the lights in on either end, I first had to remove these factory light and number boards. I'll be modifying these and then putting them back in. I'll do that probably in the number board section. Here's what the back one looks like. Then there was also, where'd it go? Yeah. There's also this light tube here that went like that. So this I won't be needing at all. I'll just save that. And I did take the headlights out temporarily as well, or the headlight, the windows out temporarily as well. I will be putting those back in. Okay, so wow, can you see that? So I'm gonna use some white glue to fix those in place, just in case this ever needs to come apart for any reason, the bulbs burn out or something. I never have actually had, sorry, let me get this on camera a little better. I never actually have had these bulbs burn out, but you never know, just in case. Sometimes they fit so tightly that you don't need to even do anything, they just fit, but I like the white glue also because it dries clear and it's easy to clean up on the outside if it, because you always get a little bit too much. Okay, so I've got everything just kind of temporarily hooked up here just to test it. That is the forward headlight. And here is the reverse headlight. You can zoom in a little better there. Show you the connections here. Let me take this back to the bench. Okay, let me try to explain what I've got going on for wiring here. There are 2 light bulbs up front. They're in series. 1/2 of the series, one leg of the series comes to here to the blue wire to the common. The other, this wire here, goes through a 220 ohm 1 watt resistor to the white wire. The back set of bulbs are in series. One leg comes up here to the blue common. The other leg comes right here up to the yellow. This is temporary. I'm going to clean this up a little more when I do the rest of the wiring. But that's the basics of how the headlights are hooked up. Okay, so now on to the number boards. I have decided to replace the original number boards for 2 reasons, really. One, the SD24 was missing one of its boards, so I had to do something. And 2, because I don't know if you can, I don't think it's going to show up on the camera here, but there are, the surface area of these number boards is not smooth. There's like ridges on there, and I was afraid the numbers, I was afraid I'd have a hard time getting the numbers to stick and fit on there well. So I'm going to put those aside, and I just 3D printed some little new number boards here, and then glued a surface mount LED inside each one, and then these are just going to press fit into the cab here. This one might need a little more filing. Yeah, darn it. But that's the general idea. Alright, so I've got the number boards installed, and I've got at least the front one numbered. I will light it up here. You can see what it looks like. All right, now on to the classification lights. All right, to set up the classification lights, I will be using these clear classification lights from Details Associates. And in order to... Okay, so I'm going to be drilling out the molded in classification lights, and to get that started as closely as I can, I'm going to start off with the X-Acto to get it going. Perfectly centered. Close to the center. Once I get it started with the Okay, let's see if I can zoom in a little on that. Probably not. Oh, there, a little better. Okay, now I just need to do that a few more times, and then I'll get to work on putting the lights on the inside. Okay, so to light up the classification lights, I'm using these two-color red-green surface mount LEDs I picked up somewhere off eBay. I'll try and add the link here if you're interested. And basically what I did was glued them back in here behind where the classification light sticks through. And here's what they look like when illuminated. There's the green, although it looks a little more yellow. And there's the red. Okay, I'll go ahead and get those finished up. Okay, so I will try to show how the wiring is done here. Oh boy, I realize it's kind of going to be hard to see, but hang with me here. So I've got all 4 of the classification lights in, and I use some black putty to kind of keep the light from leaking away in each corner. So all 4 of them, the anode lead comes right to here, and in here is a 10k ohm resistor, and that's going to the common. This is a temporary connection because I've got a lot more stuff that has to get added into there. And then each of the 4 green cathode wires come together right here. The green cathodes come together and they're going to the violet for function, I think that's function 2 of the decoder. And then the rear, sorry, I'm off camera. The rear 2 red cathodes come together and come to the white for forward, because when the headlights, these headlights are on, the 2 red classification lights on the back are going to be on. So then the 2 red classification lights for the front, the 2 cathodes from that, come here to the yellow. Okay, here's a test fit. Here are the classification lights. The headlights, that'll be forward. That'll be reverse. Okay, so next up is one of my favorites, and that would be adding the rotary beacon. Here's the part I use. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail in this video. We're already running kind of long here. I will link above. I have a video where I review this product by itself. So basically, got to drill a couple holes in the roof, and as far as these go for electrical connections, it's pretty simple. They do most of the work for you. There's just a red and a black wire. The red wire goes to the decoder blue common, and the black wire goes to the function output. Here, I'll zoom in and show you everything you get in the... Here's what all comes in the package. This guy here is for like a different kind of mounting that I don't typically use. This one here I don't typically use. And they also give you a red and a blue, which I also won't be using. And this is the little stand. I'll be modifying that. I cut a little bit off these legs. I think it sticks up a bit too high if you use it like that. And then this is the amber lens I'll be using, and this. Okay, here we are. I have both of them pretty much finished up, at least this far. I was sort of planning on doing ditch lights as well, but I'm kind of running out of steam on this project. I've been working on this for days, and I think this video is already going to be like an hour long, so I'll either just leave it as is or leave that for a project for another time. But I will run through the lights here. We've got headlights, that's forward. That's reverse. Numberboards. Classification lights. The factory cab light. And finally, the beacon. There's all at once. I still have to finish up one of the back number boards. I ran out of numbers. I ran out of zeros and ones. So, not quite finished there. So yeah, if you made it this far in the video, thanks so much for watching. I'd appreciate if you gave me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel. And if you're really interested in seeing ditch lights added to these guys, if enough people put comments down below, that would help motivate me to actually do it. Until then, thanks for watching. See you next time.